chats, it's Ed EDDBUD here, back with another dose of running news for you. Thanks for tuning in, people, it's always appreciated. Don't forget to help support the channel by hitting us with a super thanks down below. Also give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. Danke schön. Straight into the running news this week with story number 1. I'm quite taken back by the ever-decreasing differences between Nike's running shoes and their basketball models. Nike have dropped their recent update to the Lebron signature lineup, this being the famous 20th version from the famous Lakers player. Features a new low-cut look and it looks even more like a running shoe than ever. We got the presence of Zoom Air in both the forefoot and the heel. Are you seeing the similarities? There's a larger unit in the heel and also a carbon fibre shank in the midfoot. Well, yes, it's heavy at 437 grams. That's for like a US 11, so not far off my size, but I did spot something that a lot of people are overlooking with these shoes. Nike have been making their shoes with a secret. Lots of them have a heel to toe drop of about 6 to 8 millimeters, but if you include the drop from the arch down to the forefoot, sometimes that's even more, like about 9 or 10 millimeters. A lot of people have noticed in the Alpha Fly that the arch is actually very present. There's a big drop on the medial side of the shoe. Quite a lot of people feel that sort of bulge in the arch area of the shoe. That's what is going on there. The placement of the air unit in the forefoot above the foams very reminiscent of the Zoom Air Pegasus 39, and of course with that much thicker, larger heel air unit that's in direct connection with the rubber outsole. Basketball shoes obviously demand a much thicker upper for them to work properly. It's all about containing the foot inside the shoe, whereas with running shoes it's all about making the upper as light as possible. But a lot of the actual midsole technology is pretty much exactly the same. You've got a lot of direction changes, haven't you, in basketball? Quickly going between left to right movements, whereas that's not really a thing in running. We just go in one direction for miles and miles and miles and miles. And obviously a less flexible toe box in some of the basketball models. I mean, they're even using Cushlon foam, which we haven't seen for a little while in any Nike offerings. People really enjoyed the Pegasus models like the 35 and the 36. Both of those had Cushlon. So many of Nike's basketball shoes seem to be adopting those low-cut profiles now. Bit of a move away from the mid-tops and the high-tops. Considerable correlation between the performance running shoes and some of those basketball models. I don't see Nike using Zoom X anytime soon though within basketball shoes. It's just too compressive and squashy. It's just not resilient enough either for the demands on court. Perhaps that's why older foams like Cushlon are still being utilised, reasonably light and very durable. This isn't one that I'm going to pick up anytime soon, even for sort of novelty points. It's certainly a shoe for something very different to running, and I don't play basketball anywhere near enough to actually warrant it. This one's certainly more a performance related shoe though, rather than a casual. Interesting to note though, the differences are slowly becoming less and less. Story 2. Interesting to see another major marathon won by a runner wearing Adidas Adios Pro 3s. An Adidas athlete coming up with another mile-mashing performance at the Chicago Marathon. A top-notch time as well of 2 hours 4 minutes and 24. This time it's Benson Kiprun of Kenya. I believe he's part of the same running team as Amos. Good old Amos. He's my favourite right now. Benson won the Boston Marathon last year and now has the crown for the Windy City too with a personal best. The Adios Pro 3 helping him along. Though to be honest, I think it's that 25th mile afterburner that he seems to have, which he turns on and just leaves everybody in the dust. A fast time for the Chicago course, which once again saw Kiprun using the same tactics as he's employed in previous marathons. Really driving and pushing the other racers at the end, testing their worth, but they're just not quite up to it. They have no answer for his stunning fitness and that surge that he seems to employ towards the end of the race. It's becoming a bit of a trademark actually for old Benson. We must note also some fantastic running in the women's race. Ruth Chepngetich of Kenya took the crown with an immense effort. Only just falling short of the world record as well. Watching it back, I was really sort of out of my chair, like, come on! But it just was not enough at the end. Blistering pace, in fact, in the first sections of the race. Perhaps I used up a little bit too much energy. A superb time of 2 hours, 14 minutes and 18 seconds. I think that's about 14 seconds off, so she wasn't far away. I think she even left one of the male pacers in the dust. He just It just wasn't up to it. It must also be noted the superb performance of an American athlete in this race, Emily Sisson, who produced an American record time of 2 hours 18:29. Some interesting footwear worn by Emily too does appear to be the New Balance Fuel Cell SC Pacer, though it does apparently have some modifications. A shoe that I found suitable for my old decrepit legs for shorter distances certainly. Don't forget I'm a non-elite middle-aged man who probably eats too many giant Wotsits and donuts. No problems for Emily using the SC Pacer over the marathon distance, showing some real strength and vigour across the 26.2 miles. Second place finish at a very prestigious event. Well done. Great running though all round at the Chicago Marathon from the elites and non-elites. Story 3. This time a new watch from Decathlon brand Kiprun. I believe this one is out now actually at a quite Earth credit friendly price of 120, that's British pounds. I don't know what that's worth around the rest of the world these days. Not a lot. The watch itself is actually manufactured by the Masters of Time, Kouros. It's actually based on a very popular lightweight model that they already have. One that itself represents amazing value for all the features and functions that are packed into such a small timepiece. A 48-gram watch is super lightweight, and it's certainly a consideration for me as somebody who has wrists that are only comparable to Skeletor himself. More buttons on the Kiprun GPS 500 than the Pace 2 though, with up and down buttons along with a select and backup control. Of course, standard GPS features you would expect on this watch are here. You got the standard things like distance, pace and speed, but also more training based metrics that you might find useful like the VO2 max function, and of course built-in wrist-based heart rate sensing as well. I think perhaps as you get more into running you get a little bit more interested in some of those features and some of the metrics. I think there can be a bit of overkill with stuff like that and you start relying too much on them. I think sometimes you have to listen to your body a little bit, but I think some of those metrics do help you to decide whether you should go out on that easy run or not. Kiprun reckon on some pretty solid battery life, about 25 hours in GPS mode and of course longer in standard mode. And the Kouros app that actually links up with the watch is pretty on point these days, very comparable with other manufacturers. There's loads of great metrics there and they're really easy to see and they've laid all the data out in a really nice logical fashion. I think the price and all of that in itself makes this one a really good bet if you're in the market for a new GPS sports watch. I think if you're thinking about upgrading perhaps from a cheaper model to something that's got a few more features, this one could be right up your street. I think this watch or any of those from the Kouros lineup are really good options if you want to perhaps up your training a little bit, dive into more of the data, to spend a bit more time examining what you have been doing out there. And it's of course easy to export any of those runs out to things like Strava so you can socialize with your friends. I think it's one for people who like to keep things a little bit more simple as well. If you don't want route mapping or music or any of those other features, then this one could be ideal. This one doesn't have Garmin Pay or Apple Pay built in, so ideal if you're the type of runner who likes paying for your mid-run Kit Kat using a screwed up £5 note you found in your running shorts. Waterproof of course for the UK weather, and it's compatible with your Bluetooth devices such as your heart rate straps or wrist straps. The Kiprun GPS 500 is out now over at Decathlon. They haven't sent me one or anything like that, I'm just giving you the news, just giving you the updates, just sending it out there. Story 4. The observant ones out there will notice that I've been wearing some apparel from TRACKSMITH recently. I've been lucky to try out a load of their stuff and I have to be honest, I'm a bit of a convert. I like wearing it whilst running of course, but also just generally, if it's washed and it's there, I'll want to wear it. Not the shorts of course, it's a bit chilly for that at the moment, but certainly some of the long sleeve tops are fantastic quality. Just liking the retro vibes on them, they kind of fit with me and they actually fit really nicely as well, even given my very slight frame. TRACKSMITH aren't just stopping there though, they've unveiled some awesome looking running shoes which tie in closely with the aesthetic design of all their clothing. The Elliot Runner is a Pegasus based midsole shoe. I think it's one of these super critical ones, so it's going to tell you off for any small thing that you do. A 10mm drop from heel to toe and they reckon on a 270 gram weight for a US men's size 9. So it does firmly mean for me it's probably a more training based option rather than a race thing, and that's absolutely fine because the bulkier miles are probably going to be slower training miles, right? Once again though, I think you can probably double up running and casual use with this beautiful off-white midsole and gum rubber looking sole. Who doesn't like gum rubber on the bottom of their soles, right? I really do like the addition of those more natural looking materials in the upper and some flatter laces along with an old school profile to the shoe itself. Makes one hopefully that will live up to the most important aspects of a shoe, the performance and the looks. I think these go live for pre-orders on October the 24th, so there isn't long to wait. Head over to TRACKSMITH's website for more details on that. It's always refreshing to see a new logo as well. I really do like the hair. So many releases from the typical suspects recently that it's just cool to have something new out there. That's all the running news for today. If I've missed any interesting stories, let me know in the email in the description of this video. Musical interlude time. This record is hideously underrated. I can't believe more people didn't pick it up and more people didn't enjoy it at the time. Maroon from the Webb Brothers. Now this one was released back in 2000. That seems like a lifetime ago. This one is brilliant. Some lovely harmonies by the Webb Brothers, who are Jimmy Webb's sons. One plays guitar, Telecaster. Just realised that my son had put banana all over me. Fortunately, you can't see it. And the other plays keyboards, and their voices just work superbly well together. Kind of like a modern day Everly Brothers. The Liars Club is fantastic. I can always remember feeling quite connected with that song as a young man. How all these people go to like a club and pretend they're having a great time when secretly they're not at all. Low Grade Fever has this almost lullaby-like quality about it, but as with quite a lot of Webb Brothers tunes, it turns a little sour towards the end. Suddenly Awake and Powder Pale are both very similar, and there's the absolutely pumping Summer People, which is just a great track. I know it's not the summer now, and it's autumn leading into winter, but the summer will come back if you put that one on. The production on these records is fantastic as well from the Webb Brothers. Really great drumming, just clear production. You can hear all of the instruments there. Go and check it out, guys. Mega underrated. Maroon by the Webb Brothers. Thanks for tuning in, people. Always appreciated. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications when I fire out those new videos for you. Also, give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you